Sometimes attackers don't break in. They wait for you to let them in. In this lesson, we're talking about lore-based and message-based threat vectors. These are attacks where the user gets tricked into triggering the threat actor's malicious code. Let's break it down so you know how these attacks work and how you can shut them down. That's my radio voice, don't mind me. Think of a lure like bait on a hook. It looks harmless, even helpful, but once you take it, it's game over. In cybersecurity, a lure is a file, image, or device designed to entice someone to open it or run it. The moment they do, the hidden malicious code, the hook, executes. If an attacker can't exploit a system directly, they'll go after the user instead, and that's what makes lore-based attacks so effective. Here are some lore-based attack methods. You have removable devices. The attacker loads malware on a USB stick and drops it in a parking lot or lobby. This is called a drop attack. All it takes is one curious employee to plug it in. Some malware run automatically, and others just need the user to open the file or click run. Then you have your executable files. The attacker hides malicious code in a file that looks like something useful or fun, like a game or a free tool. This is classic Trojan horse behavior. Then you have your document files. These are files like Word document or PDFs, where the attacker hides malicious scripts. These take advantage of vulnerabilities in software used to open them. Then you have your image files. Even images can be dangerous. Exploit code can be hidden inside an image file and executed by a browser or document viewer that isn't fully patched. These lore-based vectors target USB ports, browsers, document software, and unpatched systems. You can reduce the risk by applying patches quickly, using antivirus and intrusion detection systems, restricting what programs can run, scanning USB drives and attachments, and training users to recognize suspicious content. Now let's talk about how the lore gets delivered. It doesn't matter how well hidden the malware is. If no one opens the file, the attack fails. That's why attackers pair lures with message-based vectors. These are the delivery system used to convince someone to download, open, or interact with the malicious file. Here's some examples. You have your email. Email is still the #1 way malware gets into organization. A well-crafted phishing email plus a malicious attachment or link is all it takes. Phishing, by the way, is an email disguised to be good when in fact it has malicious intent. For example, you receive an email, supposedly from your bank, asking you to confirm a $1,000 withdrawal. You immediately click the link to stop the transfer. Rather than taking you to the bank login screen, you're taken to the hacker's page that looks just like your bank. You enter your credentials and boom, the hacker now logs in to your actual bank with your actual credentials. Another vector is SMS, text messages. An attacker sends a file or a link via text message. By the way, this is another type of phishing called smishing. Most people trust their phones, which makes SMS attacks especially sneaky. Then you have instant messaging, IM. Applications like WhatsApp, Slack, Signal, and Teams can all send messages with attachments. Even though they use encryption, vulnerabilities still exist. And encryption can make it harder to scan messages for threats. This type of phishing, by the way, is called Vishing. Then you have the daydream attack. This is where you're daydreaming that you won the lottery. This type of attack is called wishing. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to see if you're awake. The last type of vector is web and social media. Attackers post malicious downloads on social media or hijack legitimate websites to trick people to download malicious programs. This is referred to as drive-by download. They may also spread disinformation, encouraging people to install apps that are really Trojan in disguise. These are called Trojan horse malware. Now I know I've been preaching that most attacks need the user to click something, but there's something called zero-click exploits. They actually do not. Just viewing a file, previewing an image, or receiving a message can be enough to trigger the attack if the software have the right vulnerability. This is why patching is so critical and why endpoint monitoring matters. Alright, in this video, we learned lore-based vectors hide malware inside seemingly harmless files and devices. We learned that message-based vectors are the delivery vehicles. That's email, text, social media, and more. We also learned that most of the time, attackers are betting that someone will get curious, click the link, or run the file. And lastly, we learned that your best defense: pass fast, educate users, scan everything, and monitor behavior. See you in the next one.